chronically exemplifies. After the Me Too movement, they did absolutely nothing when it came to sexual harassment. They have always diminished the charges of women, always, consistently, and they're doing it again. To cheapen or ridicule the pain a woman suffers from a sexual attack is disgusting, sexist and disgusting. To second guess how a woman should have acted after a sexual attack is sexist and disgusting. It's just insensitive. You don't understand the pain. You don't understand how the system tortures a person who wants to come forward. So,
Nothing is real.
From RealChiefPolice.com. By William Geary Jr. Another reason the MSM must go away. Got this from Telegram. There's no sound with this video clip, but it speaks volumes. Yet another reason you cannot believe everything you see with the MSM. Besides lying to you with a straight face with a spoken word, they lie to you by projecting images and videos that are simply not for real. Also from RealChiefPolice.com. By William Geary Jr. Double trouble? What's going on with these people? This pic was posted on Telegram courtesy of Rudy Giuliani. Interesting enough. Just a reminder that who we think we see is not them at all. Everyone pictured here except for Zuckerberg. I did major threads about when I was on Twitter. Some had angry responses as they found it hard to believe. At least two pictured are no longer with us, Big Mike and the real Biden. I've heard conflicting stories about Zuckerberg and Hunter Biden, but it would not surprise me at all if those two are very long gone. Harris is still with us, and I want to say do not be surprised if she, the real one, makes a return to fill the seat as president when they wave goodbye to Biden. I can tell you that there is more than one person portraying Biden as well as Harris. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure. I am putting out the possibility there's still more acts to go in this movie.
Please consider supporting my channels on Patreon, and thank you to all of you who are already giving on Patreon. I really appreciate your support.
From RealChiefPolice.com. By William Geary Jr. Another reason the MSM must go away. Got this from Telegram. There's no sound with this video clip, but it speaks volumes. Yet another reason you cannot believe everything you see with the MSM. Besides lying to you with a straight face with a spoken word, they lie to you by projecting images and videos that are simply not for real. Also from RealChiefPolice.com. By William Geary Jr. Double trouble? What's going on with these people? This pic was posted on Telegram courtesy of Rudy Giuliani. Interesting enough. Just a reminder that who we think we see is not them at all. Everyone pictured here except for Zuckerberg. I did major threads about when I was on Twitter. Some had angry responses as they found it hard to believe. At least two pictured are no longer with us, Big Mike and the real Biden. I've heard conflicting stories about Zuckerberg and Hunter Biden, but it would not surprise me at all if those two are very long gone. Harris is still with us, and I want to say do not be surprised if she, the real one, makes a return to fill the seat as president when they wave goodbye to Biden. I can tell you that there is more than one person portraying Biden as well as Harris. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure. I am putting out the possibility there's still more acts to go in this movie.
Please consider supporting my channels on Patreon, and thank you to all of you who are already giving on Patreon. I really appreciate your support. Intel haul from Marines and real Chief of Police. From covert geopolitics. Huge actionable intelligence haul from Marine raid on CIA headquarters. The good guys are winning, folks, and it will not be long before the last brainwashed slaves are freed from the Khazarian debt slavery mind control matrix and the criminals rounded up. The Marine raid last week on CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, has yielded a huge haul of actionable intelligence, say Pentagon and other sources. U.S. President Donald Trump is winning big, with Clinton-linked pedo rings busted in China as well as the Philippines, Africa, and Germany. Military tribunals and sealed indictments across the USA are approaching 4,000, according to Pentagon sources. This raid was made possible because Trump signed an executive order on October 20 to recall retired military to active duty in order to take down the Bush-Clinton cabal, the Jewish mafia, and purge the CIA and FBI of traitors, the sources say. The sources say that during the November 18 raid on CIA headquarters, computers and documents were seized and as a result, some 400 drug facilities were located and the U.S. military began bombing them in Afghanistan on November 19. They added that the bombed locations were labeled as the Taliban's in order to be politically correct. In other words, they do not want the world to think there is a civil war going on inside the military-industrial complex. In any case, the Marines have proven once again that they are semper fidelis, always faithful, as this was not just a military operation but an intelligence operation, a psychological warfare operation, and the largest anti-drug operation in history, the sources continue. In addition to cutting off heroin money from Afghanistan, the cutting off of air flights and land connections to North Korea has stopped the flow of amphetamine money to the Khazarian cabal as well, according to Asian secret society sources. The mass arrests and deportation of the MS-13 El Salvadorian gang who are hired killers for drug kingpin El Chapo, as well as a new attack on the Mexican and Colombian drug cartels, means cocaine money from South America is also being cut off. The ongoing legalization of marijuana worldwide has also cut off that source of Khazarian black money. With CIA drug money influence drying up, the International Criminal Court is poised to prosecute the CIA and the Bush cabal for torture and other war crimes in Afghanistan as well as elsewhere, the Pentagon and other sources say. Also, one of the largest corruption cases in U.S. military history has led to the investigation of 440 people, including 60 admirals, one-third of the Navy's top brass. The removal of these corrupt officers, mostly stationed in Asia, means the 7th Fleet is soon going to stop protecting the corrupt politicians in Japan, South Korea, and the secret Khazarian colony of North Korea. This will mean that U.S. arrests will be followed by similar arrests in Asia. The Japanese criminals involved in the March 11, 2011 tsunami and nuclear mass murder attack on Japan, fearing for their lives, have detained whistleblower and Gnostic Illuminati Grandmaster Alexander Romanov, aka Zarek, and confined him in inhuman conditions at the Hasegawa Hospital in Fuchu, Tokyo. Former Prime Minister Yasuhiro Nakasone, former Prime Minister Yoshiro Mori, the mayor of Kagane City, the police chief of Kagane City, and all other criminals involved in the Fukushima crime against humanity will be jailed and eventually executed unless they release Zarek and immediately hold press conferences to confess their sins. Their assets will be impounded and Zarek will be compensated for the harm that has been done to him, say White Dragon Society, WDS, sources. Of course, senior masterminds in the US, Italy, and Switzerland will also be brought to justice for these crimes. Many top Khazarian mobsters like Bill Gates and George Soros have already been taken out of commission, WDS sources say. Next among the most prominent people expected to be taken down are Eric Schmidt of Google, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, as well as Masayoshi Son of SoftBank and many other oligarchs who have been used as funnels to launder privately owned central bank fiat money into the real economy. Japanese right-wing sources say that Son has already been dealt with. Meanwhile, a source within U.S. Marine headquarters also provided sordid detail of other Khazarian crimes that were uncovered in the raid. This was received via email from a CIA white hat. From a Marine at CIA headquarters. The U.S. Marines raided the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, in Langley, Virginia, this past weekend. The Marines retrieved a lot of evidence implicating well-known politicians of embezzlement, election rigging, identity fraud, assassination plots, murders, domestic terrorism, and pedophilia. I've listed the following 23 items to pique your interest and summarize what's happening. Item 1, CIA headquarters has been raided, the FBI has been neutralized, and $35 trillion of U.S. Treasury embezzled funds have been recovered. About $100 trillion has been embezzled by the Bushes, and the Clintons. Item 2, President Donald Trump reopened the President John F. Kennedy assassination files and George H.W. Bush was behind it. JFK autopsy photographs were falsified. Item 3, the sexual harassment outings of all these members of Congress is a mainstream media distraction for what's really going on. U.S. Marines raid CIA headquarters and President Trump imposes military martial law, behind the scene. Item 4, Alex Jones of InfoWars is a traitor and national security threat who is connected with a division of the Mossad, the State of Israel's secret intelligence service. Item 5, Hillary Rodham Clinton had ordered the murders, through domestic assassination squads, of Ron Brown, Commerce Secretary, William Colby, Director of Central Intelligence, Vince Foster, Deputy White House Counsel, and John F. Kennedy Jr., son of assassinated President John F. Kennedy, and others. Item 6, then Republican presidential candidate Trump was right that Senator Ted Cruz's father was implicated with Lee Harvey Oswald. Item 7, California Representative Adam Schiff, ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, former White House Chief of Staff for U.S. President Barack Obama, are connected with the Mossad. Both Schiff and Emanuel are pedophiles. Item 8, Barack Obama was born in Kenya and the former president has committed identity fraud. Obama should be arrested for identity fraud. Item 9, Senator Cruz is a Canadian citizen who faked his birth certificate to become U.S. Senator and has committed identity fraud. Cruz should be arrested for identity fraud. Item 10, President Trump has got the file of every journalist, for example Anderson Cooper, CNN/CBS, Chris Matthews, MSNBC, Wolf Blitzer, CNN, and possibly Alex Jones, InfoWars, that's on the CIA payroll. Item 11, the U.S. Marines removed computers from CIA headquarters this past weekend. Item 12, they now have proof and evidence that Hillary Rodham Clinton has committed election fraud, treason, and sedition. She's a drug dealer. She's committed mass murders. She's murdered people at the State Department as a murder-for-hire scheme. Item 13, Bill Plant, who retired as a CBS News correspondent in November 2016, confirmed that JFK was shot from the front. Tennessee Senator/Democratic President candidate Al Gore actually won the 2000 election, and the whole 9/11 terrorist attack was rigged. Plant said none of this will be reported because reporters are afraid for their lives. Item 14, this country will not have a deficit once protocols are implemented. $100 trillion comes in, $35 trillion goes right into the U.S. Treasury, and there's a $15 trillion surplus. We can cut taxes, rebuild the military, create a great infrastructure program for this country, and Donald Trump will go down as the greatest president since Ronald Reagan. Item 15, George H.W. Bush tried to assassinate President Reagan 3 times during Reagan's 8-year presidency. Item 16, Daddy Bush, and Hillary Clinton, have also tried to assassinate President Donald Trump 7 times. And Bush, throughout the years, has been involved with 25 assassination plots against other major political figures, specifically, Congress members and senators. Item 17, if Gore had taken office and the Bushes weren't able to steal the election, there was a plot to remove Gore and put vice presidential candidate Al Lieberman as president. Item 18, there's a cover-up involving California Representative Maxine Waters and the Blue Moon Bank in Thailand. Item 19, the November 3, 2017, Renee Boucher assault on anti-war/pro-life Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was attempted murder. That guy, Boucher, was chipped, because Paul knows too much and he can't be controlled. Item 20, a reporter in a major network was going to break a story, which he is sitting on to this day, that the government contacted orphanages around the country and paid these orphanages to transport orphans to Washington, D.C. so Dick Cheney and George H.W. Bush and other pedophiles, for example Barney Frank, could pick out the kids they wanted to have sex with. Then they took those kids to parties. Hookers were present at these parties. Congress members were drugged and photographs were taken of politicians and these orphans in sexually compromising positions. A huge portion of Congress was, and now is, controlled through blackmail. Item 21, when the U.S. Marines raided the CIA buildings, they recovered pre-9/11 terrorist attack financial transactions, insurance documents, plus other papers. All these documents are now in possession of U.S. Marine intelligence. Item 22, the state of Wisconsin, the Federal Reserve, and former, from 2001 to 2005, Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson were involved with theft of trillions of dollars from the U.S. Treasury. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker should turn over everything he has or he will be subpoenaed. Item 23, California Democrat Governor Jerry Brown has ordered a pedogate investigation of his own party, involving California Rep./Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and U.S. Senator Kamala Harris. From RealChiefPolice.com. U.S. House virtually empty. This was streamed live February 15, 2021. Where is Pelosi? The House is almost empty. Where is everyone? They were arrested. Remember? Here is proof positive almost 3/4 of the House was arrested. They are in the middle of their tribunals, which means they can't make it to the in-session House. They are having to appoint interim speakers to replace incarcerated Pelosi, but that is okay. She can be excused because she had a previous commitment with a judge. A tribunal judge. The only time you will see her again will be on a CGI video. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Pelosi violated her plea agreement. She may have been executed by now. We know Biden, not Biden, has already been executed. Trump has confirmed that numerous times. He was executed in 2019. Now we just have to wait for the rest of the arrested House to be tried and or executed. It couldn't happen to a more evil bunch of Satan worshippers. Here's your proof. An empty House. They are voting by phone and by proxy, through their aides acting in their stead, because most of them are incarcerated. John Roberts is running scared. He knows what happened to the House and Pelosi. He is hiding. His Satanist pals are hiding him. But John, you can't hide forever. Come out, come out, come out, wherever you are. Now John, don't keep that judge waiting. It is time to pay up with your soul, John. Please consider supporting my channels on Patreon, and thank you to all of you who are already giving on Patreon. I really appreciate your support.
Bye.